National Safety Month this month, the month of June. It's an annual observance to help keep each other safe. It's a month-long event. It's not a daily event. It's not a daily recognition like Bermuda Shorts Day or Taco Day. This is actually a month-long focus on different areas and trying to help people keep safe and to learn about safety. And I'll tell you what, the reason I wanted to bring it up this morning, it goes a little bit farther than that. It's an opportunity for each of us to find a new way to look at safety. We talk about it, it can be not only at the workplace, which is what the National Safety Council really focuses on, but it can also be in your own home. You can find a way to create conversations in your home to the people that you love and want to keep safe. Have you gone over, do you have fire extinguishers in your home, and does everybody know where they are and how to use them? Have you checked your fire alarms? Have you tested them, and do you have an annual event where you go up and you change the batteries and you test them each year, and not just wait for it to give you that soul beeping sound at night that you hear? There are opportunities that you can do with these conversations with these people and yourself. I'll tell you what's great is this month allows you the ability to change the way you look at what you do, whether it be at work and at home, and create and have fun with it. Understand that safety has to be a passion and a chance to renew what you do every day to keep yourself and everyone around you safe. It is a challenge that you can make today going forward and create this new habit in this month-long event. It typically takes about 28 days to create a new habit. All I ask is today you give yourself that moment of notice when you look around and you see what might be safe, what might not be safe. And if you need to, open up a website and find a safety training video, whether it be for the home or whether it be for the work or whether it be for play. Find that time to have those great conversations, not only with your people at home, but with the people at the workplace. Let's find a way to be safe. Let's find a way to be fun about it. And let's do it today during this month. Thank you. And we'll be right back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Happy Friday to you. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. Want to welcome you. It's just a blessed Friday morning, sir. It's a pleasure to work alongside you.
Absolutely. And you know what? I find Fridays fun. I mean, I don't know what it is about a Friday. I just find them fun.
It's just the day before a lot of us still have to work.
I know, I get it. Me too.
I don't know if you get that part or not. But Dave, I want to first of all, I appreciate your opening dialogue on there, and to my heart, and you know, Boyd and I had a kind of little tear coming down because only if that would have been heard prior to today's the opening of today's show, it could have saved an eye, could have saved a
puncture wound.
A puncture wound, whatever that is. But yes, somehow drive safe. You walked into a booby trap.
I did walk into a booby trap. I walked into, and you know what? I took pause, and I was shocked that in the studio that not only would the producer allow something like that to happen, but my buddy in arms here would allow some. But neither. If you didn't see it, I'm good. I'm just telling you, it was straight up danger. I felt like that robot. That danger, Will Robinson, danger.
You know what? With all the cameras in here, you'd think we'd have some kind of surveillance to catch perpetrators like that. Because let me tell you something. In the place of work, home, like Drive Safe Dave said, there's no place for danger. You want to make sure that you're doing all you can to minimize the danger out there, Dave.
You do.
Hey, guys. So here we go. So Friday morning. It's, it is, first of all, I want to make sure that you understand that when Dave's talking about safety, when we talk about that, it's in all that we do, to the fire. You brought up a great point. Make sure you change those alarms at the house, that the fire extinguishers, look at it, make sure it's good. You in the truck, the same thing. You've got those fire extinguishers. You've got to make sure that they're charged, that they're ready to go. in the case you need it. Dave, we saw an instance in which one could have been used, perhaps, a couple of them up in Minnesota when they had the accident with the big truck hitting the pickup truck. Did you see that?
Yeah, the abandoned one, and
Yes.
it burst into flames like that. I'm telling you, scary, and just leaving a vehicle on a freeway.
Well, so it goes out to say that on this on the video here, it on earlier camera footage shows that the red pickup truck, it had hit a deer, disabled in the middle. And Dave, you're in the middle of the road. I think it's scary no matter what. I mean, if he would have been in the truck,
It would have been, yeah, it would have
then
been.
it would have been a fatality probably. The person got out of the truck, truck's in there. And Dave, the big debate now was, was the truck at fault that was broke down in the middle, or was it the truck that hit it at fault?
Right. I'm going to go, I'm thinking that if you had been paying attention, you probably wouldn't have hit the vehicle. But you know what? I saw a lot of people going around the truck, and I saw even a big truck. It might even have an opportunity to set out cones and call 911 and get the word out. You see things like this, you got to get the word out. You got to let people know what's going. Even pop a flare if possible and get it on the ground.
Yeah, there's just, when it comes to those distractions, when it comes to, what y'all do out there on the road, we talk about it all the time. Dave, that's what's so important about understanding your situation awareness.
Absolutely.
What's around? Why are those vehicles in front of me going around? Why are they doing that? The truck did maintain its speed, it looked like. Never switched lanes, didn't think about it. Something happened, and all of a sudden he's on the red truck and just hits it. Doesn't look like he slows down at all.
Not until he hit it.
Not until he hit it.
Right.
And those are the parts that when we talk about following distance, when we talk about speed and space, those are some of the items we talk about, because you just never know, Dave, what's going on in that road. If something's broke down, does that vehicle see it that you're following too close? And Dave, if there's a vehicle following that truck too close, what's going to happen?
It's going to hit it.
It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, they're going to hit right behind. It's going to be a chain reaction and never be able to stop. And we talk about that. We talk about that on this show, and we even bring it up. We show videos of it. We try to get everybody to understand that you've got to create that space for that right reason. You never know what's going to happen. And if you're following too close, your reaction time, your ability to stop, all goes away when that vehicle in front of you hits something. Not just hits the brakes and slows down like you would, but physically hits something and comes to a stop. There's nothing you can do if you don't have the space.
Yeah, without a doubt. Speaking of hitting like that, not following too close, speed, space. I don't know what you call it, Dave, but we had an issue up in where was this at? It was a lady gets in a fight with her boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
Well, it's
right.
ex for sure now.
Yeah.
And you know what, Dave? When you get into argument with your wife, your spouse, your ex-lover, or whatever that is, she leaves the house, you feel like, all right, I'm good. But she goes out and gets that international. And it isn't international. She goes out, hops in the international, comes back in, and runs into the house. Tears up the house. Goes into the house, Dave.
This right here might be a mobile home argument. Would you? This might be, and you know what? These big trucks can do damage. I mean,
so the guy, I don't know if you saw that, but he had a hurt leg. I don't know if it was broken or not, but it had a few hurt bones for certain. All I gotta say is that if you just got in a fight with your spouse, and you know what? This is some just good information from us. This is like
don't
free
get behind the wheel of the
Listen,
truck.
If you're standing on the porch and you just got into an argument with your spouse, your friend, it doesn't matter, and they're coming at you in a big truck, a semi-truck, it doesn't matter if it's an international Peterbilt. At this point, they're all created equal. If they're going at you, get out of the way. You're not going to stop it.
100%.
You're not going to stop it. Move out of the way. And Dave, she does that. His baby's mama comes over, and they start duking it out because she goes after baby mama. And the one that ran into it, I wish we had that picture up too. She got a little black eye. I think baby mama won that fight.
I'll tell you what. You know what? When they're gear jamming and they're picking up speed, it's time to move out of the way because they're not stopping. There was no brakes involved in that event, was there?
Hey, no, for certain. Hey, Dave, listen, we have our interview today, and it's a recording is what it is. You and I are both TAT certified, and we talk
are.
about TAT. Tell everybody what TAT is.
You know, it's Truckers Against Trafficking. It is an organization that is created because it opens up the eyes around the nation to identify, see, and report trafficking across the United States. It is a fantastic organization. What it's done, it has helped teach many, many people out there on the road to identify, focus on, and report it, and to help save these lives that are out there being trafficked. I would call it slavery. I watched the video. We've talked about it. I'm TAT certified. You're TAT certified. And I'll tell you what, it is something very, very important. And to me, the most important part of it all is being involved, is taking the moment to dial the number that you need to dial. That's what you get. You get a card when you get TAT certified. You get these, and you know the number you need to call to get this focused on and to help solve this problem across the United States, because this is slavery.
Yeah, we've got to do something about it. And when you think about that army, and I'm talking about the army of truckers,
absolutely,
out there, is one of the best. We're out there, we see things that all the time that don't seem right, Dave. And you've been out there on the road. When something doesn't seem right to that eye, to a trucker's eye, there's something wrong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's many, many times you just don't get involved. You know, you turn a blind eye to it. You see it going on, and I'm telling you, if you're out there in the truck stop and you see that slow car rolling through, doing what it's not supposed to be doing, or you see the young ladies in the stops, make the call. Find a way to help, because really it's time to do something. Because as you come to learn a little bit more about it and you hear the testimony from some of these women, they're trapped. This isn't their calling. This isn't something that they desire to do. They're physically, emotionally, and mentally trapped into this problem, and we have to do something about it. It's time to throw the life preserver in and save a life.
Yes, for certain. We want you to log into the Truckers Against Trafficking. Become TAT certified.
100%.
Make a difference. We, in this industry, we can make a difference. Everything you do today, it does make a difference anyway. And what we're saying now is to look at this realm right here. Look at these folks that are involved in slavery, and make a decision to help them to save a life. TAT's videos coming up next here on BCB Live.
Here I am preparing for college, doing all of the things that I need to do that I felt like other kids my age weren't doing, and just graduating from high school. So upon graduating, there's that senior field trip that we all, get ready to go on. This is a part of your, leaving high school celebration. And I had a friend of mine who had her best friend. Well, her best friend had a boyfriend, and he was the one who said he had a cousin who'd like to go on this senior field trip with me. I was fine with that, and I knew at the time that he was much older, so he was 28 and I was 18. So he was a real gentleman, and so he knew what he was doing. I didn't know really what my needs were. So he took the initiative and pulled money out of his pocket, and that had just never happened to me. And so I was just enjoying that moment and just being myself, I felt like. And during that entire time, he was asking me questions about my life. I thought he was just interested in my life. No one had sat with me and asked me, questions about all the trauma that I experienced. So I met a man. I thought he loved me, but he trafficked me for 18 months.
Human trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry. There are 40 million people enslaved in the world today. Human trafficking can and does happen anywhere.
Sex trafficking and labor trafficking happen all around us. This is happening in our neighborhoods, in residential homes and apartment buildings, but it's also happening in commercial areas, in your local communities, in your local businesses, from illicit massage businesses to neighborhood brothels that are run out of homes. This type of crime is happening everywhere. When we think about labor trafficking, you will have forced labor in some of the local restaurants in your community, or even sometimes in nail parlors. Domestic servitude is all too common, as is forced labor in factories, out in the fields, or in a variety of businesses. So what we need to understand is that this is a very local crime, and we need to be eyes and ears out there on the roads and in our neighborhoods to help identify these victims, to recognize them, and then report to the authorities in hopes that we can help end their nightmare.
You know, as a victim, you don't see the world as others see it. And you feel like there's another world, and people are oblivious to anything else happening other than their own world. And so to come outside into another person's world and say, how would I have gotten you to notice me, is challenging, right? Because I was there and I saw that you didn't see me.
Human trafficking is the exploitation of human beings through force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of either commercial sex or forced labor. And you have a third party, a trafficker, a victimizer, basically a predator, who is making a profit off of their back. And these victims find themselves in situations they literally cannot get out of.
After that evening, he continued to connect with me, and he continued to make me feel great. And for 4 months, he groomed me, he wooed me. I didn't know he was manipulating me. I just counted that as love. This is what love feels like, and this is what I want. So I went for it. I gave 100%.
Force is everything you think about, right? When you hear that word. Force is beatings, rape, gang rape. Victims have been shot, stabbed, tortured in unimaginable ways, forced into isolation, forced into drug addiction. Anything that that trafficker is going to do to make that victim comply, they will do it.
One of my hardest moments was this time where my trafficker picked me up and another girl, and she looked high, and we weren't allowed to do drugs. And so he turned and looked at her, realized she was high, pulled the car over, told her to get out. He took her behind a building, and then he came back to the car without her. So I don't know what happened to her, but I never saw her again.
Fraud is the promise of one thing, but the delivery of something else. False employment offers, lying, promises of a better life. When in reality, all that trafficker wants is to exploit that victim. By far and away, coercion is the most powerful means that traffickers use to keep their victims compliant. These are the psychological abuses, right? Where the pimp or the trafficker plays the daddy or the boyfriend role. I love you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make all of your dreams come true. When in reality, they take that trust that they have earned in the grooming process and they use it to exploit and profit off of their victim. Coercion is also the threats to life. the threats to safety, the threats to a family member. You don't do this, I'm going to kill your child. You don't do this, I'm going to kill your little sister. Oftentimes, the trafficker knows where their victims live. They may know their family members. And so the victim finds themselves in a place where if I don't do this, if I don't make my quota, if I don't comply, this trafficker means business and they will take action. They will harm my family. They will harm me. They will harm someone I love.
What makes people vulnerable to sex trafficking, human trafficking, is low self-esteem. It could be runaways. It could have drug activity where they've been involved in drugs. Homeless youth, women and girls of color, and also peer pressure can be involved in it too. When you have kids, especially with the LGBTQ, those kids pretty much could be where they're at home and parents, loved ones kind of push them away because of where they are with their sexual preferences, and they feel embarrassed, and they're looking for someone to love them, looking for somebody to be able to interact with, and they go to these human traffickers. They find them as a easy target. These kids are looking for somebody to love them, somebody to show them that, hey, I care about you. And human traffickers, they target these kids to the point where they know that I can offer you something that your parents are not offering you. Local drivers are very important against human trafficking because they're out there on the road. They are there. They are able to see things that law enforcement can't necessarily see. They're at these houses, they're at these different locations. They see these different signs, different telltale signs, and they report back to law enforcement what they see. So they play a crucial role in the fight against human trafficking.
Truckers Against Trafficking is the largest mobile army of eyes and ears of professional drivers out there on the road dedicated to discovering and disrupting human trafficking networks. And what we have found with over-the-road truck drivers is that once they understand the crime of human trafficking and they know how to report it, that they will actually turn around and do so. And we have seen countless victims who have been identified, calls made into the hotline because truckers took the time to get involved and care. And so what we are asking you, local drivers, food delivery personnel, folks who are, again, that last mile, putting that package on the doorstep, rideshare drivers, flower delivery, sanitation workers, appliance delivery, USPS, furniture delivery, movers, anybody, again, who are on the roads and in neighborhoods, to join us. Join our mobile army. Be those eyes and ears. Law enforcement cannot be everywhere at once. It is imperative that we, the general public, that we become activated, that we are looking, that we care enough to get involved and make a call that could help end the nightmare for a victim of human trafficking. One of the #1 signs to be on the lookout for is any minor who is selling commercial sex. There is no such thing as a child prostitute. That child needs the adults in and around them to stand up for them and make a call on their behalf. Any individual under the age of 18 being sold for sex is a victim of human trafficking. So other indications of a residential brothel are those homes that seem a bit isolated from the rest of the neighborhood. You never see kids playing out in the yard. It only seems that large groups of women live there. Not really family situations taking place. It's different cars constantly coming and going at all times of day and night. And typically only men coming and going from the residence. Again, these are all indicators that human trafficking could be taking place.
So another thing you may notice is that people who are going in and out of the house may be dressed differently than how they should be dressed. Like, say if it's in the morning and you see someone with a party dress on, right? Or, you're just seeing things that don't quite match with the season. So if it's winter and the clothes that they have on aren't seasonally appropriate.
So if you're at a commercial business, some signs to be paying attention to are excessive security measures. Right? Are there bars on the windows? Is there barbed wire present? Chain link fences? Are there side or back alley entrances? Are you actually forced to be buzzed into the location? Are you seeing all sorts of security cameras at all sorts of different angles all around this location? Again, that could be a red flag that human trafficking is taking place inside the location. Rideshare drivers, pay attention to the passengers in your vehicle. How are they treating each other? What's their conversation like? Not that many years ago, there was an Uber driver who helped rescue a 16-year-old girl who was on her way to being trafficked. He was taking her and her two pimps to this particular hotel. And he started listening to their conversation. And they were talking about, okay, make sure you check this guy for guns before you start rubbing up on him. Make sure you get the money up front. He's just paying attention to what they're actually saying. And he realized that this child was on her way to being sold for sex. And so he drops them off at that hotel and he makes a call, and law enforcement arrives at the scene. And indeed, that's exactly what was taking place. And thanks to him, that victim was returned home the very next day. Other red flags rideshare drivers can be paying attention to are, okay, when you go into maybe that restaurant, right, in order to pick up the food to deliver it to somebody's home, pay attention to how the workers are treated. Do you see any mattresses on the floor or any other kind of evidence that workers may be actually forced to live on the premises? Are workers actually free to talk to you? Do they look as if they are free to come and go as they please? Pay attention to these signs that labor trafficking might actually exist. For those of you who are approaching a residence and making that last mile delivery or putting the mail in the box or getting that person their food, pay attention to what you might overhear. Are you hearing any kinds of shouting or yelling or even screaming? Are you overhearing threats being made? Do you hear anyone asking for help? Also, pay attention to what you might see, like any potential victims that may be visible. Do you see anyone who looks distressed or upset, crying, or fearful? This is how a USPS employee assisted in the recovery of a victim who had just escaped from her traffickers and needed help getting home. He noticed her crying and visibly upset while he was on his route, and he took the time to get involved. Again, not every instance may be human trafficking per se, but these types of signs should be your first indication to look for additional red flags. So what should you do when those red flags have presented themselves? Well, first and foremost, if you are witnessing a crime in progress, if a child is being hurt, if an adult is being hurt, or somebody is in danger, call 911 and make that phone call immediately so that law enforcement can respond to the scene. And when you call, tell them that you suspect human trafficking, potential human trafficking actually occurring. But if you're not sure about what you're witnessing, we ask that you call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-3737-888. You'll be talking to trained professionals who are there 24/7 to answer your questions and help you ascertain if what you're looking at is indeed human trafficking. That hotline number is also the number to call to access victim services. You may find yourself in a situation where you have a conversation where you're interacting with a potential victim of human trafficking. And so you can call that number together to access those services that are so desperately needed. The other thing that we would ask you to do is to take a victim-centered approach if you are interacting with a potential victim of human trafficking. Of course, always start with human kindness. Start with compassion. It helps that victim feel seen. It helps them to be heard and acknowledged, and that they are worth your time. If you find yourself in a position that you could actually offer a potential victim food or water or shelter or safe place to sit, if you're willing to take that extra time and to call the National Human Trafficking Hotline with them in order to access victim services, you could help change a life that way.
When you see something, say something. Calling several days later, it's still helpful, but it's not as helpful as it would be when the act is actually going on. The make of the car, the model of the car, the description of the person that's getting out of the vehicle, what you see going on at the residence, how long the person is there, and what you suspect is important.
Some questions that you can ask people who may be potential victims of trafficking, you can ask them something as simple as, "Are you okay?" Or, "What do you need? Is there something I can do for you?" Just be kind. And remember, a lot of times as a victim, you feel unseen and unheard. So just taking that moment to hear and to see us can do so much.
Do not put yourself in harm's way. Don't try to intervene. Just make the phone call. Just be our eyes. Report what you see.
Well, again, maybe one red flag isn't necessarily evidence of a crime. But if you start to see 2 or 3 of these red flags mount up, make the call.
As a father, I would want you to make that phone call if it was my child. Think about it, if it was your child, would you want that phone call to be made by someone else? I need you. I implore you to make that phone call.
I need you to think about how you can actually change someone's life, like me. That's exactly what happened to me. Someone did something different and put action to what their heart told them to do.
It's okay to be wrong. I promise you, being a law enforcement myself, we will not get angry at you. But what if you're right?
No one expects you to end human trafficking. But can you just take care of the person right in front of you?
And next we're going to have Dale with the weather.
Everybody, Friday, it's National Donut Day. We're going to talk about some weather right now. And first thing, we're going to start off with the winds. And you know what? The winds are not bad again today. We've had some pretty calm weather the past 3 days or so. You know, nothing major going on right now. As we go into the afternoon, we're going to see some stronger winds pick up through West Texas, up through the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, in through Kansas and Nebraska. And then later today, New Mexico starts picking up and gets pretty windy out there. Gusts up to 27, 30 miles an hour out in the higher elevations. Other place we're going to see some wind is Michigan, Wisconsin, northern Minnesota. I don't, you know, if so you're up in those areas, be aware of that. You know, you go into the overnight hours, again, you know, it's New Mexico that's we're really seeing the stronger winds, but nothing major going on. West Texas, still some strong winds going out there. And as we slide ahead into tomorrow afternoon, you know, it looks like we're going to be a pretty decent day as far as the winds go tomorrow. Again, central Texas up through western Oklahoma, Kansas, you know, go see some stronger winds, but not the major gusts, the high gust of over 40 that we've been seeing for the past couple weeks or so. So, you know, overall, the winds are going to be pretty decent today. Let's take a look and see what's going on with precipitation. Currently, we have some pretty strong thunderstorms out in West Texas, up along that 287 route, up into the Panhandle, and the Panhandle of Oklahoma, getting right there into southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas. A pretty strong cell out there. So if you're in that area, be aware of what's going on. There are some strong winds associated with that, lots of lightning going on. And then around Lubbock, looks like there's a strong storm. Other area currently with precipitation right now is central Mississippi. You know, if we go into this afternoon, you know, the rain sticks around that western and northern Texas, the Panhandle, into the afternoon hours. A little bit of precipitation up in the higher elevations of Colorado. But as we go into the evening hours, again, the storms do intensify up around out in the Lubbock, Texas area. That Panhandle area, West Texas, is going to be very active for storms today, strong winds with those storms. And then currently overnight and evening hours, we're going to see some pretty strong storms pick up along the Atlantic coast and the Carolinas up through Georgia. Florida throughout most of the day, southern Florida throughout most of the day will be picking up rain and see some pretty strong storms in the very far south. A little bit of rain and precipitation going on up in the New England states, but not a lot going on right there. As we go to tomorrow, you know, tomorrow morning or overnight, you know, some stronger storms up in northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota, western Oklahoma may see some storms overnight. Those storms that were out in the Carolinas seem to be moving offshore early morning tomorrow. And by tomorrow afternoon, you know, some storms and rain going on in central Kansas, but looks like a pretty quiet day overall today and tomorrow as far as precipitation and winds go. With that, let's take a short break and come back and talk some safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high quality, ANSI certified, high visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. What's going on? Just stop, dude. Stop. All right, so
Hard break.
So been talking about stopping, but stopping. I had a hard break the other day, yesterday, I did stop. I had stopped. I stopped. It is so important. Again, as I begin that transition into stop, Rick. You know, I'm gonna stop at everything. I had a conversation with my kids yesterday, with my wife yesterday about stopping at stop signs in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter at Walmart, at Kroger. You just stop. And I'm gonna tell you once again, I can see it kind of transitioning who I am. I'm becoming a better man.
Yeah, you know, it feels good when you do the right thing, Sir Rick, and I'm glad that finally you found a way to do the right thing in life. And you know what? Double check. Dale and I are just happy to have been a big part of what that transition.
Yep, you recognize the fault. He recognized.
I know,
big
big
correct
stuff.
on, and you're correct. And Rick, we're proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that. You know what? And just some encouragement for y'all is it's not that hard to correct your errors. And Dave, I encourage you to do the same thing. So many errors that I work with you on that you've got to correct. And it's just not that hard. I wanted to go out there and step out and be that example to show you, to show America, to show Drive Safe Dave in particular, how easy it is to make a change. You see it, you notice it, and then it does take action, Dale. You can't say, I'm going to stop. You actually have to stop. You can't say, I'm going to work today. You actually have to work today.
Yeah, you can't say, well, I'm going to roll this one. I'll stop twice the next time. You have to stop every time. So it just takes, a little bit of concentration and not getting distracted about it and doing it.
We got a big day of videos, Dale. So before we get into that, I know you've got some more news you want to continue to share.
We're talking about tailgating all week long. And the simple truth is when you tailgate, you're not gaining any time. Everybody thinks, oh, if I tailgate, get that person to move out of my way, I'll gain some time. I'll make up some time. You just don't, folks. You're not gaining any time. You're not getting anywhere any faster by tailgating. You're just endangering yourself and the vehicle that you're tailgating behind, and it's aggressive driving. And I'm going to tell you, as a professional driver, if you get a ticket for tailgating, it's considered aggressive driving. Trucking companies look at that, and they look at that different. It's a lot tougher to get hired at a good company if you have a ticket for tailgating or aggressive driving. So just back off and be calm.
Yeah, I like it. I like what you're saying on there. Hey, we're going to hop into some videos here. We're going to take a look at some action items or items that may, Drive Safe Dave, perhaps need a little action.
We're highlighting something today. I bet you
Hold on
can't.
a second. Hold on before you show that video. Hold on. All right, producer, you got to be quick on this, okay? Show your face. Show America who you are. Come on. All right. How do you spell POTS?
Pots.
Yes.
P-O-T-S.
What do you do when you get to a green light?
Go.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Dave, how many other road signs are red with a red background? Can you think of any other ones?
Let me think for a second. Do not enter is red background.
Okay.
There is, but that is more of a stop. Wrong way is red.
Warning signs. Tell them don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking there are some red signs.
Yeah.
But
Stoplight.
Stop.
Oh.
That's not okay. That's
Not
a
a
traffic
sign.
signal. That's a traffic signal.
It's not a sign. Drive Safe Dave. How many?
Trick question.
Stoplight.
Let's go into the videos. Here we go.
All right, first one we got is stop means stop, and this driver does just that.
We have seen this one before.
Yeah, I mean,
You know
this
what?
is a collage
Stop
of the good ones. I mean,
means
this is,
stop. You just do it. I love it.
Yeah,
Good job.
just keep them rolling.
Next we got stop means stop, and this driver nails it.
Nice.
And we're on
There
a
you go.
private place. You talked about
feel-
that earlier,
yeah.
Rick. And again, just does a great job.
Nobody around. Nobody looking. But this is the definition of integrity right
Is that
here.
from my car? Is it from my car? Because I stop at those all the
Do you
time.
got-
Now, I'm telling you.
Do you have
I
hood mirrors
changed.
out there, do you? You got some hood mirrors on your car? We need to take a look at your car.
And now we got one more great example of a driver stopping.
Did anybody see the stop sign on the right in the trees? Does anybody notice that?
I did not.
I noticed the one right here.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think there's a stop sign ahead warning at the very beginning in the right in
Hold
the
on a
trees.
second. Oh, did he
Right
stop?
there.
Right there,
Isn't that,
yeah.
isn't that a stop sign warning sign?
Yep.
I mean, so should you stop at that point too?
No,
though?
that's yellow background, sir.
This is so. You know what? This is so confusing. I'm really now starting to where I'm going to start stopping when I shouldn't stop.
That one right there, that the stop sign ahead is a warning sign. This is actually a command. Stop.
Now we got some bad examples.
Oh,
This
no.
is rolling in the bobcat or rolling in the bobtail.
Yeah, we've seen this earlier. Again, the neighborhood, Rick, where you're practicing every morning to make sure that you stop looking both
That
ways?
was me before I changed. Before
You
know,
made a difference?
Yes, before I walked down the aisle. You know what? And baptized into stop signs.
I thought you
know
meant
what?
got
No.
married again.
This is what happened right here. I'm telling you, you find yourself doing this where you're comfortable at because there's nobody coming and all of that, but you've got to stop. You never know if there's a child running out there, if there's even a little dog out there running, a cute little dog. He's so cute.
All right, next we got rolling stop with the lane change.
This one here is a little concerning because
Okay,
we're really going through on that one.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, it may be easier to find. Is there anything right about this video? It seems like we're probably
Well,
going too fast.
we're not in the
weather.
construction
I know
lane.
we're going 25. Well, I mean, my God, I feel like we're just. This one here is. This is a little insane.
He's on the way to the.
But you know what though? But let's be honest now. If he's got a pickup that's getting ready to close, you got to make up some speed somehow, and then it's okay to do this, right?
Oh yeah, put yourself at risk, put others at risk. Never okay. Never okay. Probably may have just changed. Like I said, maybe a new sign, may not have been used to it. I would hope there's something going on because that's not even a rolling stop. That's just flat out running it.
Next we got rolling in the neighborhood.
Oh, we know this area.
You know, just kind of easing through it, not quite stopping, thinking, took that look and a glance. Not the same as stopping. The law means stop. I mean, you still stop, get that good look. Because
so which one is better, this one or the video before? Dave, you answer that one.
Better.
Yes.
Well, the one.
Show the one before.
Okay.
So which one is better?
It's the same law is broken. The same law is broken. I don't which murder is better if you do it slowly or quickly. I don't understand how the question. I mean, so is the one that he died slowly, is that one worse, or is the one where he just blew his head off? I'm just.
Wow. Okay. Next subject.
Wow, what an analogies, man.
Yeah.
Now we got roll and stop in the rest area.
It's a rest area, but it still has a stop sign. There's a reason for it. If you think about all the traffic and everybody in a rest area, it's a good place to stop because there's a lot of people that aren't paying attention on vacation, whatever. So stop means stop no matter where we are.
It's not a highway. It's not a roadway. It's not out there for the public to see. It's a rest area.
It's a public thoroughfare, sir. I mean, it is a public thoroughfare with a stop sign. Do you respect stop signs? That's the question. Do you respect stop signs?
Well, I tell you, this is gonna be a challenge for me as I begin. I've got a long way to go. But I am making steps to get that one. Show me another one.
Now we got roll and go on a one-way.
That's a one-way. Nobody else is there. Like a yield.
Yeah, I just have
It's
to look
not
one way.
like
I
a
just have to
yield.
look
It's
one
like
way,
a
right?
yield. I mean, you look to the right. There's nobody.
You know, that shape is different. You know, the shape sign is different for yield. It's actually a triangle. It's a totally different view. And this one is octagonal. And
All right. So you spend so much time telling me this. I mean, what's going on? Do the drivers, they don't know what stop signs mean anymore then, Dave? Is that what you're saying, that they just don't get it? They don't know. Maybe we're not teaching it. Did you learn about stop signs in school?
Personally, yes, I did.
Well, and do you stop every time?
Most of the time.
okay.
I guess
I think that's it. I think what we've done is we've created
take
this.
them down.
Yeah. No. What?
Just take them down. Then you don't have to worry about. If we're not going to obey them, take them down.
No. Don't
What are
do
your
that.
thoughts, Dale?
No.
If we're not going to, why have them on there? If you're not going to obey it, just take them down.
All yields.
Okay,
All yields.
I don't
Yes.
like that. I don't like that theory. I don't
But
want
why
that theory.
not?
But
I mean,
I don't know.
if you're not going to stop, why have them up there? Producer, if you're not going to stop, do me a favor this weekend. Anyone you don't stop on, I want you to take a chainsaw to it, take a pull to it, knock it down, just drag it down, get it out of there. We're not stopping anyway.
Wait,
That's not true. I mean, we see the ones where we're not. There are a lot of them where we are stopping. Again, we're just helping to recognize that, hey, we have some improvement to do, that we may not be stopping at all of them. We're pointing it out. So we recognize that so we can get better at it like you have done, Rick.
But when we don't stop and we yield, perhaps, aren't we? We're saying that, you know what, nothing's ever going to happen here. I'm just going to yield.
Correct.
And maybe they made a mistake and put the wrong sign up, Dave.
They didn't make a mistake and put the wrong sign up. What we've done is we've told ourselves it's okay. We've looked both ways, and there's no real reason to come to a complete stop. We have this false sense of security, this thing that we tell ourselves that we're better than what the stop sign is. I'm going to tell you right now that it's a bad habit that you create while driving, that you learn out there on the road, and that we've learned from each other over the years, that you just don't completely come to a stop at a stop sign. And that habit gets worse and worse and worse until something bad happens. And we don't want anything bad to happen. What we do want you to do is to understand that the stop sign that I'm wearing, the stop sign that you see, all of them mean the same thing. And if you respect what their intentionality behind it is being safe, then you need to stop at all of them and create that great habit that you're working on, Sir Rick, the one that you're talking about at home. You're creating conversations. You're talking about conversations. You're talking about things making a difference. And I'm telling you right now, the stop sign is probably one of the least respected signs out there today, 100%. And it has everything to do with keeping people safe.
Gotcha. We have any more videos, producer? Or was that our last one?
Oh, yeah, we got about 5 more.
All right, let's roll.
Now we got Rolling in the Dark.
You know, we've seen daylight, we've seen dark, we've seen neighborhoods. You got to stop. It doesn't matter what time of day or night. Stop means stop, as always.
All right.
Next, we got left-hand turn on the roll.
Just kind of slowing down for it. Nobody's coming. Let's not stop for it. That's not why the stop sign's there. You know, it doesn't say only stop when you see traffic. It says stop. That means stop.
But if you're giving them a grade, okay, and 100% a student,
It's a pass-fail, sir. It's a pass-fail.
That's right.
It's not an A, B, C, or D. It's a pass-fail. So on a pass-fail grade, what are you giving this one?
Yeah. Officer doesn't say, well, you almost stopped, so I'm only going to give you
Fail.
a ticket. You know.
Fail.
Now we got roll with it hard left.
Pass, fail, fail.
That sign's kind of leaning, though.
Right.
I mean, you're like,
it is kind of leaning. You're not,
I don't know. Does that really say that?
Yeah, after it's gotten hit a few times by the person not stopping.
Now we got a good stop when nobody's around.
You know, we've seen this video, and I think we'll see this one 2 or 3 more times in this collage right here. This is about, I think 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Nobody's around. It's dark. Driver stops, does the right thing, even when nobody's around. That's integrity. And we can roll it again, and it'll look exactly the same because we've got it 3 times. I mean, that's integrity. It's not just a one-off for this driver. This driver is stopping at it every time.
Here's part 2.
No matter how you look at it, a stop's a stop.
Yep. This driver's bought into it and is doing it every time. Like I said, you know, midnight or whatever time it is in the morning, no traffic around, still stopping.
All right.
Wow.
And there
Good
it is.
videos, man. Great videos. Yes, stop means stop. Drive safe, Dave Dale. You know, I'm watching these stop signs right here, and I do think something could change. I mean, if you could change something about the stop sign, drive safe, what would you change? Anything?
The stop sign
Just
itself.
you have it on your shirt. Is there anything about that you would change to maybe make it more effective? If I had to go back, I thought about this. If I had to go back and rename the stop sign, I would call it, and we would be renaming a lot of our English words, the word ABBA. That way, no matter what, it was spelled the same way, either way you looked at it. Much like the band ABBA, A-B-B-A. That way, no matter how you looked at that stop sign, forwards, backwards, if you're it's going to spell ABBA.
Like race
or
car.
Stop.
Like race car.
Or stop.
Race.
I know,
Or mom.
A-B-B-A, 4 letters. I'm keeping consistent with the S-T-O-P. I just think I'm on to something there, ABBA.
Race cars
Start
spelled the same
ABBA.
way, forwards and
You know
backwards.
what? ABBA when you get to that, right?
Why would it be ABBA? How is that an instruction?
It's
ABBA. That's like a baby instruction. ABBA.
It's It's our new word for stop. It
That is-
means
why can't
no
we just
matter
use the
how you
old
look
word?
at it, no matter how you, because the one way it says pots. The other, my way, it says ABBA. Either way you look at it, and ABBA, if you go back to the initiation of the word ABBA, it means stop. So make sure you ABBA as you come to these stop signs. Drive safe, Dave. You want to close this out with a prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, help us today to understand one another and to appreciate each other for who they are. Father, also help protect us, help keep us safe, and keep us mindful of those around us. You know, Father, help us to also be better at what we do. Help us to know what we need to do, and help us to understand the importance of being safe out there each and every day. Watch over us, guide us, and help us be nice today. We ask all these things in your name. We pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Drive Safe Dave. Double Check Dale, I want to thank you. I want y'all to have a great weekend. Doesn't ABBA also mean father?
Yes, it does.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Also, all I can think of now is dancing.
I'm sorry for bringing in Jesus into the show, Drive Safe Dave. We'll see you Monday
I
morning.
just
Y'all
prayed
be
to
safe.